When you decide that it's time to change your life, you will be invited to a party, and you will be the guest of honor among a sea of naysayers. They will ask you why. Why are you doing this? Who do you think you are? Do you think you can do it? One of my favorite quotes, and I have a lot of quotes that I like because they inspire, but this one in particular is from Eleanor Roosevelt. And it's this: you must do the thing you think you cannot do. And that is going to bring out a lot of doubters, a lot of haters, a lot of people who do not see what it is that you see. They don't have your vision because they're so used to playing small. But you realize that it's time to grow. In the lead up to 2018, I was struggling. I was a flight attendant at the time for Air Canada. I was doing a lot of overseas flying, particularly to London, England. And I was just tired all the time. I mean, throughout my entire adult life, it seems like I've struggled with being able to fall and stay asleep. So on my days off, I wanted to run, I wanted to write, I wanted to do the things that I loved, but every day felt like a struggle because I was always tired, always exhausted, always feeling like I was on the point of burnout. And then I read a book by Russ Perry called The Sober Entrepreneur. And Perry talked about his struggle with alcohol. He was at rock bottom, and sobriety gave him an out. It helped increase his productivity. It helped him scale his business. And while I wasn't looking to create a 7-figure business, I was looking for something different that would help me have more energy and just hopefully get a better sleep at night. So on January 18th, 2018, I decided to stop drinking. I was only ever a social drinker. I remember 2 occasions in my 20s where I drank to the point where, let's just say, it wasn't pretty for anybody around me. But the decision to give up alcohol was for the betterment of my health. And as soon as I decided to do that, people started asking me why. Why would I do that if I didn't have a problem with alcohol? Why couldn't I just limit myself to a drink here or a drink there, that social drinking with friends? I opted for what many saw as a radical choice because I had a different vision for my life. I wondered what I could do without alcohol, without having that glass of wine at dinner with friends, without having to go for beers on a patio. And there was, in the very near future, a change. When I stopped drinking, I started running more. And not only was I increasing my distances consistently, like running more 10Ks and 15Ks than 5Ks and 7Ks, I lost weight. In 6 months, I lost 20 pounds because I stopped drinking, changed my diet, and was being more active. And to a certain degree, I was sleeping better. But I've always struggled, as I said, with sleep. But I didn't miss alcohol. It was something that had really been a social thing that I did with others. I could come home and have a drink or not. It didn't faze me. And then not missing alcohol, because I kind of thought that this would be a short-term thing, just to see if it would improve my sleep. But I haven't had a drink since January 18th, 2018. I've remained sober. And as I said, with people asking me why I would do that, because they couldn't give up drinking, so why would I? It really brought home something that Ryan Holiday wrote in his book, Courage is Calling. And it's in the most aptly titled chapter, The Scariest Thing to Be Is Yourself. And Holiday writes, because the courage to be different is the courage to think different, to see what others don't see, to hear what others don't hear. That is what change is. Change is the courage to be different, but ultimately to be yourself. And I invite you today to be yourself.